this might be a good one to do a voiceover on. This is Cru. I've had her for going on about 3 weeks. I've spent a lot of time bonding with her and just kind of getting her in with stock and getting her comfortable with me around livestock. She does rely on me a lot for cues of what to do. She wants to walk right beside or right behind me and push from there, which I think is how she's been used at home so far, is to kind of follow behind and then come out in the front and push when needed. So this was the very first time I had started trying to direct her at all with any kind of tool. So if she fades out, I call her back into me and give her some support and then praise her when she moves in the direction that I'm asking her to go. So she's not yet taking direction on livestock. So I'm kind of playing this little back and forth of come in here and do something hard, and then I'll make it a little bit easier for you, and then we'll go back to work. So right here she decides she wants to leave, so I just kind of scold her, put a little pressure on her until she gives the response that I'm looking for. And this would be the response that I'm looking for at any point in her training. So even when she's 100% hooked up and gung-ho about this, when I say hey and I put a little pressure on her, I want her to stop and wait for me to give her the next cue. So once she does that, I just call her to me and put her back to work. So I'm just going to put my focus on the sheep whenever she's looking a little bit unsure. She's hanging in there. She's not taking my direction. She's moving, in fact, the wrong way away from that stick. So I just pat my opposite leg, call her in with me and assist her, and then send her back on the other way, praising as she's doing what I'm asking for. So right here, she kind of overflanks there. She's not really hooked up to the sheep. She's just kind of trying to follow and get on my side. So I just make that difficult. And then when she says, oh, you've made it too hard, I'm going to leave, I scold her a little bit, put that pressure on her. When she stops, then I can ask her forward and get a little bit closer to the livestock and make it easier on her. So the deal here is this dog is going to be used for real work. She's not going to trial. Her owner has to rely on her to do the job no matter how tough it is. So she's going to face some hardships, and she's going to have to learn how to deal with it. And that's kind of what we're dealing with here early on in training. So when I shush her up and she gets more focused on me than the sheep, I just put my stick in between me and her so that she can't come to me, which is what she wants. I'm going to let her be close. I'm going to let her be tight. I'm going to let her split. I'm going to let her bite. Anything that she does at this point is fair game, as long as she's engaged with the livestock and allowing me to help her. So again, she says, oh, that's too hard. So I step in and I call her to me, and then I make it pretty much the right thing is obvious here. Like there's no way she can mess that part up. Praise for being in the right position, and then a little bit of pressure when she comes up too far on the heads. She says, oh, that's too hard, so I'm just going to leave. So I scold her. She goes into her down, and we just go back to work. And then I call her in, call her in, call her in. So I see this a lot in a lot of dogs of a lot of different breeds. If they get faced with something that's difficult, or they're being asked to do something that they're not sure about, they just would rather quit, or would rather go sit on the edge of the pen instead of participating and trying to figure it out. So we just have to work past that. And I've done this with quite a few dogs. You just kind of have to keep them in the work. You don't want to baby them through it too much, as in make it too easy. That's why I'm not taking the pressure off of her when she does come back to work. I'm still asking her to do things that are difficult for her, but as long as she's willing to participate and she's willing to come back, I can keep on working with her. So if she wants to quit completely, the other solution could be to go to a smaller pen where she doesn't have as much choices as what to do with the stock. So if you go into a pen that's too big for the dog and they end up able to avoid the work completely. But at this point, she's pretty forgiving, so she does want to work. She does have interest in this, and I am able to keep her coming back. After this session, my plan would be to give her a day off of livestock, go back to doing some bonding work, and make sure that we're still on the same page with all of our obedience and things like that. Give her a couple of days to process this session, and then go to something a little bit easier where I'm asking a little bit less of her. So you're always just kind of asking them to go to that next level, and then backing off and saying, see, this isn't so hard, and then ask them to go to that next level, then back off and show them that it's not that difficult and that they can do it. And then of course anytime that the dog is struggling, so you can see every time she looks at me, I'm putting her back on to the work, right? So she says, oh, go this way, and then I put her back to work and praise her, and then I try not to give her too many opportunities to disengage. So when she's on the back side, I know she doesn't know how to fetch. I know she doesn't necessarily have that desire yet to fetch. So then I just call her name and I ask her to walk, walk, walk. Praise, praise, praise. So she comes to me, so I just put her back to work. Lots of praise. She disengages a little bit there, so I call her name, ask her to walk forward. She basically cannot mess this up. That's where some good training sheep or good training livestock come in handy. I would not yet be able to do this with cattle, because even if my cattle are broke, they're not going to just follow me around in a pen. This set of sheep, kind of annoying to work with a little bit more experienced dog, but with a beginner dog, they're pretty honest. As you can see, they're drifting away, and she's got to fix that, so that's a good opportunity for her to see that it's her fault that these sheep are not with me. Put her on the right side, and then praise her for that, and encourage her as she's doing the right thing.